Hey, welcome back to YT Finance, and this is the channel where I went to business school so you didn't need to, and today we are talking about Sofi Technologies and the future of their Sofi stock price. In this video, we will be analyzing 3 articles, to where the first one is titled, Sofi Technologies, a tech-savvy banking giant in the making. Next, we'll be analyzing and discussing the latest news updates for Sofi Technologies regarding why Sofi stock is still the ultimate long-term bet in digital finance, meaning that it's still a buying opportunity right now despite its recent surge in their overall share price, which has been very positive for existing shareholders. Lastly, we'll also talk about the upcoming catalysts and the price targets for this company in a very strange article titled Sofi, Penguins Arrive Far Too Early. So it's kind of a funny article that this author decides to write, but I actually end up agreeing with him regarding the company's recent share price downgrades by various analysts, even though the analysts themselves are still very positive, which we briefly touched on in a previous video. So for more news updates, catalysts, and price targets regarding Sofi Technologies and their Sofi stock price, don't forget to go and annihilate that like button right now. Go ahead, press it or tap it right now because it helps me out a ton. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more Sofi stock news updates. Become a member if you want to support me personally for as little as 99 cents, but if you can't afford 99 cents per month, don't worry. By pressing or tapping that subscribe button, you are still going to get this content for absolutely free. It's just a fun way to support me. With that being said, I would love to hear your thoughts down below about Sofi stock and where you think the share price is headed in the future, but now let's jump right into today's stories. As you already know, Sofi is a fintech company or a financial technology company that essentially operates as a digital bank, and they are a part of a very expansive industry, which is high competition, but also a huge total addressable market, also known as a TAM. Sofi has illustrated their fantastic growth potential, and as the global Fintech-as-a-Service market explodes, it's currently anticipated to grow at a 17.2% compounding annual growth rate from now until 2030. On top of that, the US market specifically for this TAM is anticipated to grow at a similar rate, coming in at around 16.4%. On top of that, Sofi also has a segment involved in the technology sector of this, which is directly involved in digital banking and various platforms, to where the market is supposed to be around $16.39 billion. So it's really good to see how Sofi has their revenue streams in multiple different markets and industries, making it extremely resilient and adaptable. And also, since these industries are growing so rapidly, it really helps Sofi grow their overall bottom and top lines. Some catalysts that people want to keep an eye out for is the student loan moratorium ending, according to this article, in September of 2023. Some people think it's August, but regardless, this is going to be a very positive catalyst for Sofi stock. Even under the very unstable business environment that has been caused from rising inflation and various anti-banking macroeconomic conditions, Sofi Technologies has been extremely resilient during this time. So once this overall catalyst is achieved and the overall macroeconomic economy starts to calm down and level out, this company is anticipated to grow even further in their overall share price. On top of that, Sofi stock is expected to get closer to their historic highs. We're talking about a company that could achieve over $20. Analysts actually expect Sofi's revenues to grow at around 25.88% regarding their compounding annual growth rate in terms of their revenue. And according to consensus estimates, the company is currently trading between $9 to $10. However, the average price of the company over the last year or two has been around $7.73, even though if we look at the mid to long-term trajectory of this company, it remains a buying opportunity for investors. However, my personal risk tolerance says to not over-allocate more than a 5% initial portfolio allocation to this company, because anything above that would be improper risk management. And then on top of that, clearly we want to get this company as low as possible so its growth gives us even more profits as it continuously grows throughout time. The company is also making strides in their various programs regarding environmental stewardship programs, which is going to act as a positive publicity catalyst which could influence the overall share price, and they are also publishing anti-corruption policies on all levels of their organization to make sure there is no bad or unethical practices going on. This looks very good when Sofi is addressing the public regarding these things, because a lot of people are concerned about the environment as well as the internal operation of the company, because they want it to be as moral as possible and they they want to avoid investing into corrupt companies. SoFi Technologies also exhibits very impressive growth not only in their revenues but also their member acquisition. And for a banking and technology company, SoFi Technologies has absolutely more than delivered on their promises. Despite the current political and economic conditions, which are not favorable to companies such as SoFi Technologies, the company has still pulled out very impressive growth, and once the catalyst goes through of the student loan moratorium ending, we can anticipate that their revenues and their compounding annual growth rate will increase yet again. Currently, the company is not yet profitable, but there is going to be another huge catalyst at the end of 2023 where this company will become profitable, which should increase the overall share price. Just over the last few years, SoFi Technologies has managed to triple their overall revenue output despite the student loan moratorium, which prevented them from refinancing multiple people's student loans because student loans were on a payment pause, meaning that people didn't have to pay back on their federal student loans and their federal student loans weren't accruing interest, which lowered the overall demand for SoFi's ability to refinance these loans at a cheaper interest rate. However, once that student loan moratorium ends, the demand will skyrocket for third parties like SoFi Technologies to refinance these loans, adding to their overall revenue and thus increasing the overall share price and hopefully catapulting them toward profitability. That's why the author concludes that this is still a good buying opportunity right now for those of you who have not gotten into SoFi Technologies. But again, I want to warn you that the company can definitely pull back, especially after surging more than 100%, so feel free to not over allocate yourself on an initial investment. Just nibble at this company for now, and then once the price drops, then that's when you would want to make a more substantial investment. Next up, let's talk about how the company is primed for long-term growth, and this author concludes that they are the ultimate long-term bet in digital finance, which is quite the overall statement. A month ago, the company was trading below $5 per share, and I personally thought it was going to go lower temporarily, and that's when I was going to accrue even more shares. However, since then, investors who have been patient with this company, their patience has led to huge gains, especially with the upcoming run-up of the student loan moratorium ending, which is causing the share price to climb even higher. Now, I also want to say something else. Some investors are getting confused between the student loan moratorium ending and the forgiveness plan that the Biden administration wants to implement for people who have federal student loans. But let me clarify something. It does not matter what the Supreme Court says or if the Biden administration ends up going through with their federal student loan forgiveness plan. That does not necessarily affect SoFi Technologies. The student loan moratorium is far more important, and we already have an end date for that, meaning that regardless, this catalyst will be actualized. Whether or not the Supreme Court decides if the Biden administration actually has the power to forgive federal student loans going as high as $20,000 off their overall debt, that is going to be up in the air, and that does not matter as much as the student loan moratorium, which already has an end date. That is the thing that is going to increase the overall revenues for SoFi, not necessarily if student loan forgiveness will go through between $10,000 to $20,000, even though if that was also shut down and stopped, that would also benefit SoFi Technologies, at least in some regard, but it's not directly leading to a higher share price. But honestly, that decision is not as important as the student loan moratorium ending. Luckily, during this time, SoFi Technologies has been able to replace their student loan business essentially with their portfolio of personal loans, which have been absolutely skyrocketing, especially during a high interest rate environment. Many people are taking out personal loans so they can pay off other high interest debt, and they also take out personal loans to get money during this hard economic environment that we find ourselves in. But how has this impacted SoFi's overall financial metrics? Well, for the last 3 months ending in March, they showed a $34 million loss, or a 5 cents per share loss, even though revenue was up around 43% compared to the same quarter but a year ago. Now, some investors are seeking the positive catalyst of once this company becomes profitable, the share price could potentially double. They're essentially believing that what happened to Palantir Technologies, ticker symbol PLTR, when they first became profitable, where the share price literally doubled since then, they believe SoFi could undergo a similar catalyst. Now, I don't think the share price will necessarily double, but I do think this is going to be very positive for this overall company. Thanks to the CEO of SoFi and analysts continuously pounding the table on SoFi stock as a buy, despite it falling from around $22, some believe they will re-achieve their height of $22, or at least maintaining their $10 SPAC price once SoFi became public through the notorious Chamath Palihapitiya. SoFi is also perfectly positioned for the new era of financial technology and fintech companies by being a digital bank. So it seems that SoFi has a long-term growth opportunity ahead of it, and for investors who want to get into it now while the company is still young, may be very wise to do so. But again, don't overexpose yourself to this company by any means. Lastly, let's talk about the recent downgrades that I have already previously reported on, but now we're going to get into the psychology behind this. Essentially, analysts believe after this over 100% or approximately 100% rally that the stock has gone through, a pullback is imminent, which I do agree with, and 3 analysts downgraded SoFi stock in their overall rating. So now let's talk about why exactly that is and how investors can actually benefit from that. In a previous video, I already went over these 3 bullet points regarding what institutions and analysts lowered their overall price rating. Now, what's interesting is that these analysts are actually bullish on SoFi stock. The question is, why would they lower their overall rating but increase their price target? And the reason is this: they believe the company is temporarily overvalued based on current metrics, but once the new earnings report comes in, we can actually see price target upgrades for this overall company. So literally, they are just playing the game as of right now, waiting for more financial metrics to back their overall price targets, which should increase their overall ratings. On top of that, there were various investors who believe the company could surge up to $25, even though I think that is too bullish and too much hype into this company for them to achieve over a $20 price target. I think that's somewhat ludicrous, and they're just trying to get people to buy this company so they can make money. However, we need to be smart about this. What is this company actually worth? Well, I do like how SoFi has been successfully executing on all of their promises, meaning that management is very transparent and they are keeping their overall promises, which should fill investors with confidence. On top of that, consensus estimates from analysts regarding their overall revenue projections are extremely positive, with SoFi potentially hitting $2.45 billion in 2024, representing a growth rate of around 20%. So considering this company's growth trajectory in regards of their revenue, we would think that analysts would be increasing their overall price targets and ratings and not decreasing them. However, the reason for these decreases is due to the current share price based off of the current forecasts of their financials. Once we get the next earnings report, the financial forecasts will change, analysts will adapt to the new predictions and projections by the company's management, and that should increase their overall price targets and ratings. As of right now, this author believes that SoFi is too cheap right now for analyst downgrades, and investors should buy this overall company. However, I think investors should definitely be cautious right now because we don't want to get overhyped, but overall, SoFi Technologies fundamentally is still a strong company, especially if you anticipate to hold this company over the long term. With that being said, I would say this is a very positive news update. And if you want more updates on SoFi Technologies regarding their upcoming catalysts, price targets, future projections, or general updates, don't forget to go and annihilate that like button right now, especially if you made it all the way to the end of this video. Don't forget to subscribe for this channel for more content just like this. Become a member if you want to support me personally for as little as 99 cents, because that's what keeps me here on YouTube. But with that being said, I would love to hear your thoughts down below. Don't forget to comment, and I will see you in the next YT video.